are you? My name is Anthony Gray, and welcome to another episode of Grayscale Painting. What you see up here in the front is a quick sketch of a couple of hills, some water, 11 by 15 inch familiar double layered watercolor paper. All right, I've coated it with orange. Let's look down here to the palette. The palette's got sap green, phthalo blue, burnt umber, and titanium white. Really don't need too many colors for this painting. This is another painting that would be relatively simple to emulate if you would like to try and do so. Now I'm basing this off of earlier painting that I've done in 2016. I like the imagery. I like the way it turned out. Don't know if I'll be able to emulate it perfectly like the previous painting, but I'll still keep the composition pretty much the same. All right, and I'm gonna do more or less implied rocky hillsides and evergreens. Okay, even the hill here will have evergreens, so just be a little more detailed. Okay, and we're going to play with aerial perspective, meaning that, you know, whatever's furthest back will be represent the kind of the color of the sky. All right, and as we come forward, they'll get a little more detailed, and then, you know, we have our rushing water. All right, why did I base this in orange? Well, you can base this in any color you would prefer. Okay, it just gives another dimension to your painting. Have a tinted base color over your whole painting. You can use some of this orange as a tone. All right, for your painting. Okay, all right, we're gonna get right on to it. The only thing I'll probably end up glazing over or using the medium is probably the sky and maybe the water when we get to it. I'm gonna still work from the back towards the front. Now, I'll also let you know that what I'll also be doing, just to give a stronger sense of depth, is I'll probably be glazing over the clouds and the rear mountain here. All right, which will bring this preceding hill and this one here even further forward. All right, okay, let's get right on to it. A nice thin, and I do mean thin, coat of the medium. And I use glycerin, vegetable glycerin. All right, vegetable glycerin just prolongs the drying time of your paint, and it will help you blend in your clouds however you may want them. All right, so that's basically what it's used for. It does thin out your paint. It makes it a little more transparent. All right, okay, I'm just going to lower down some of the phone noise here so it won't be too distracting. I just can't totally shut off the phone. All right, and we'll get right back to our regularly scheduled programming. All right, so I'll put this brush right here. I might use it again. Okay, we're gonna start right off with, I guess I'll just use this number 15 here. It is a flat brush. It's just a long handle flat, and I'll show it to you right here. All right, and we'll get some cloud play going. I'm going to take a little bit of white, look down here, and just a slight touch of blue in there. Now this is phthalo blue, extremely powerful color. All right, we'll start off with this. This will be fine. Now remember, the glycerin's already on this part of the painting here. So we're just gonna kind of, I guess we'll just kind of get a layer of more or less skyish type of color. I want to have kind of some rolling clouds going on in there like that. All right, now there's glare of the lights on the side, so it might look a little washed out, especially around this area here, but that's okay. It is fine. we'll straighten and tighten all that out. And I'm just getting a, various little shapes here. Roll it around like that. Put some here on the corner a little bit there. And we're gonna just keep playing with it, and we're gonna fade it in, and we're gonna add some brown to get some cloud bottoms in there. Okay, so it will not entirely look blue, orange. All right, and you're gonna handle this a step at a time. All right, I'll get a small blender here, and we'll just kind of smooth all that out a little bit. We'll kind of mix that in with the orange. Like I said, there could be other colors introduced into this. All right, and once again, I'll just lightly blend it right into the orange, just like so. And this is just the first layer, so panic not, just the first layer. And we're gonna come here, we're gonna smooth it all out. Okay, you can design your clouds however you would like. This is a certain look that I'm looking for, that I like, I enjoy looking at, so that's why I'm doing what I'm doing here. Okay, I'm not looking for nothing really super fine, super perfect. I want the details. I want the roughness to come through. There you go, a little bit past the mountain here, just like this. Now we're going to add a little touch of brown, a little umber to this blue, kind of gray it out. All right, look down here, and that's basically what I'm doing. Get a little brown, get a little of the blue. Makes a great shadow underneath cloud color. You still got a little bit of that brown. You just graze it out a little bit. Okay, and I'm putting it on relatively thin. Okay, so pretty much right under here, we're gonna marry these two colors together, and we're gonna kind of bring it out towards like this way, a little longer toward the top, a little thinner toward the mountains, like that. We're gonna do the same thing with this fella closest to us, this fella right here. Okay, and I'll keep them straight, keep it straight, so it gives the appearance of cloud bottoms here. Just gonna get a little more brown and blue. Anybody can do this. You guys can do this. You follow simple, short little rules. Okay, that's all. Get it darker toward the top, and then it lightens up here towards the back there, like this. Okay, just like that. I can expand that a little bit here. We'll darken that up a little more in here. And like I said, we're gonna marry all this together. We'll just keep this one here pretty dark. I want this fairly dark-ish. All right, okay. Looks a little crazy right now, but let's get into the blending. All right, okay. And so we'll just kind of nice circle blend right up in here. Just fade it. Just fade it. Really nice. Just like that. Don't get rid of all of your orange. Okay. When it gets to these guys in here, you're going to marry these two together. They'll blend in. Even if you have to kind of roll it a little bit, add a little pressure there to the two colors. And we're going to keep that horizontal type of thing going here. Just like that. Keep it rolling. Little horizontal strokes, just like that. Okay. We're going to do the same thing here. Let's marry these two blends together. Whether you're right or left-handed, doesn't really matter. Just blend them together. Just like that. Just blend together. And remember, keep the strokes kind of horizontal there. Keep them flat. Let those tones and values stay just like that. It looks a little crazy, but we're going to continue to blend. All you got to do is blend them. All right. And then I'll just smooth all of this out. So you can keep the strokes blended, right, in that left-right direction. But once you go in the opposite direction or you go downward, it just, all it does is blend more. You're not getting rid of all the total strokes and streaks. You're just blending. That's all you're doing, smoothing it all out. Okay. I'm wiping off my blender. I'll come here where that brightness is, because I don't want to totally make all that brightness disappear. I don't want to totally tint all of that orange. All right. Here in this corner can be a little darker up in here. So I'll just take my blender and I'll just blend in a nice little dark spot right up in there. Just like that. Circular motions make it real smooth. Continue with the flat horizontal strokes. Now with glycerin expands the paint, so those streak marks will disappear in time. All right. Okay, I'm gonna clean off my brush here. I got a towel across my lap so I can just wipe off the excess water. All right, let's get a smaller brush. I get a tiny little fella here. This type of brush is number 10 flat, but it has a lot of bristles in it there. Okay, and we're gonna just touch it up with a little bit of titanium white. Now, how much titanium white? A little bit. I'll show you here. Just pop a little bit on the corner. Now this is the way I do it. You don't necessarily have to do it this way. I'll just give it a little tap of brightness there. Just like that. Okay, very thin, very thin, very thin. Marry it right up in there. Okay, fluff it out a little bit. Put them in there. You can roll some out in here like that. Just like so. I'm just wiping the paint off my brush. All right, I'll just kind of lightly just tap it in there a little bit. If you got to strengthen up a few bits, strengthen them up. All it takes is a little touch of white, and you can kind of strengthen up a few of those, just like that. Don't have to go all the way. All right, let's continue the one in the back there, or the one that's in front of us. Let's have it kind of a little heavy here. And I'm just tapping it in. Put it right into that blue, just like this. Like I said, you don't have to necessarily get rid of all of that orange. Just like this. We'll get one up in here like this. Now you can play around with your light sources at this stage also. All right. So let's say you want it a little brighter up in here. It doesn't have to be at the edge, but maybe just up in here, like a little bit of light just hitting there. We can do the same thing with the other one. Doesn't necessarily have to be at the top. Maybe right here, a little brightness, and then we can trail that down here and kind of have it come up here. That have some come that way. All right. Okay. Then you're gonna go back to your blender. I'll probably use a smaller blender brush. We'll see. We'll test it up with this. Nah, this one here is a little. Well, I think I can still work with it. We're gonna lightly. Let's go up here. This fella here. We're gonna kind of smooth it out a little bit. All right, just kind of get a nice little soft blend going in here. Bring some of that dark back up in there, just like that. Very smooth. If you want it a little bit brighter, you can do that also. I'm just moving the paint around a little bit, moving that blue into the white, moving some of that blue into the darker color here. Now this brush here is a little stiffer than the other brushes, so we can do a little bit of playing around with that. Here, same thing, very lightly. Now control your hand pressure. The glaze, the glycerin, it's moving around. As you can see, it's moving that paint around. Okay, just like that. We can kind of soften some of these fellas that's supposed to be kind of far away, just like that. Let's keep that intensity here. We're going to go back over that to bring out that intensity a little bit more. I'll bring some of this blue into the cloud so we can just remix, and then we're going to bring it straight across. So this is a transition color right in here. Mix it in with that white like that, and then you just slowly. Now this brush is a little stiffer than my other brush, and that's fine. That is absolutely fine. We'll kind of fade this one out there like that. Maybe we'll give it a little misty quality here, just like that. So it's up to your own interpretation of how you want your clouds to look. All right. Like I say, I'm not going to get rid of all of that orange. Don't have to. This is the brush that I used before, a little larger fan. Or not fan brush, but a blender brush here. And once again, soft blends and you can give a little curve to them. We're still going to bring it straight across. That illusion of a cloud bottom there. Just like that. Smooth it right out. Same thing here. Kind of bring it flat. Alright. Just like that. And we can kind of come around. As you can see, there's still, if you got a brush with water in it, okay, because the water eats through this stuff, it's going to kind of wear your paint away, and that's okay. That's alright. Because you can always go back and darken it a little bit more. But that's what's happening. And it's why it's getting a little bit lighter there. But that's alright. We're going to return that darkness back. I'll smooth it out. And what I'll do is add a little bit of blue to the brown to bring that the darkness back. Look down here with me. A little bit of blue, a little bit of brown, mix it in there. You don't need too much of it. And once again, we'll just come here and we'll kind of shell this really good here. Just like that. We'll kind of bring that in up around in here a little closer, and we're going to smooth that out. All right, take my blender and very lightly, very light. This is going into the 3 hairs and some air category here, and we'll smooth it out there. Bring some of that lightly into the white part of the cloud. Bring it in there, circular motions. The more you blend, the more it blends in. Okay, so have no fear. Have no fear. There we go. Just put it in there like that. Okay. Now we'll start the building process. Using the same brush, I'm just cleaning it off. And now we'll go right back into our titanium white. Just use the corner of the brush. All right, more control. More control. And just a lot of that bright white up in there. And we're going to do, once again, same blending process. Okay. You want the intensity of that white in there. That's how you build up your layers, and you give a more of a 3D type of look to it. You follow me? Right here. Remember, inside of the cloud, not necessarily on the outside. Just like that. You just want a couple of hits of bright white just to show where the sunlight's hitting, more or less. Okay, bring some of that brightness in there underneath. So, you know, you think about it, plan it out a little bit, right up in here. Okay. All right, and basically I just want the intensity of the white. We'll fade out everything else. We'll take the bigger brush here, and we'll lightly. Now remember, when you use a brush like this, I'll bring it up here. When you use it, you see that little tip there? See that tip? That's what you're using. You're gonna use the tip. Okay, and very lightly kind of smooth it out there. Like I say, you can kind of wear some of that away a little bit. You still want the intensity. I'll keep it flat. See this? Give it a little curve to it. So it's really whatever you want in your clouds. How do you want your clouds to look? All right. What direction do you want them to go in? Okay. Like I said, I'm not going to get rid of all that intensity. Right here, same thing. Now, the glycerin is starting to tack up. It's still moving around, but it's still getting tacky. So, now the more you play around with the glycerin, because some of you aren't really either familiar with it or used to it yet, the more you play with it, the more comfortable you'll get with it. All right. Now, if you find an area that's getting a little too light, you can always return that darkness back, all right, to bring some of that depth back into the bottom part of your cloud. So once again, a little bit of brown, a little bit of blue. All right. No glycerin, because you still got a little bit of glycerin acting up around here. So we're going to go over here, and we're going to gradually, just like that, feather it here. Not too close to the blue and the white, because you're going to expand that. All right. I'm just getting some more so I can kind of darken up underneath here. Once again, we're thinking about depth and perspective. So, you know, it gets a little darker up in here. Now, it's far enough away so I can actually expand that and bring it outward. All right. Okay, we'll still take the larger brush here. And once again, straight lines, just kind of. Now remember that the paint is getting tacky, so you might have to add a little more pressure, but that's okay. But see, you're bringing this color into that lighter color. Straight lines still. Okay, then I can just kind of roll it and smooth it out, just like that. Just like so. All right, same thing here, but now we're going to roll in the other direction. Bring some of that dark this way. Okay, just like that. It's like a gentle little dance, just like so. And then we're going to come here toward the front. We're going to marry that into the white part of the cloud there. Move that paint around a little bit. It's a little tacky, so you're just going to have to press a little harder just to bring some of that in there. Marry some of that white into that cloud area, just like that. Okay, I can tint some of this orange in there so it doesn't look too obvious. Just darken it a little bit. Gradual tones, very gradual. Okay. All right. There's gradual stuff there. Still maneuverable, still gonna be moving around. Like so. Still keep some of the intensity, keep some of that light blue in there. Just like that. All right. Now, I can take a little bits of white and start traveling all around with it. Artist interpretation. All right, this is your world. Okay, so I can kind of tap in a few underlying things in there like this, just to kind of perk it up a little bit. See, just like that. Come out there like this, kind of make things a little interesting and have them floating around there like that. And still, I'm just wiping off my same brush, and I just use the corner. I just kind of float it around in there, thin down the bottom a little bit, just like so. See this? Stuff like that. Bring it out there a little bit. Same thing here if you want to do that. It's up to you. And with the glycerin, you can kind of soften up edges and play around with it, just like that. Like I said, I don't really want to go too heavy with the brightness or whatever. You can smooth it out just a tad. All right. So it's all about gentle blending. And me, I want gentle blended bottom edges so it kind of disappears in there. And like I say, you can always manipulate and move this to your heart's content, to whatever you feel you want. All right, okay dokie. And once again, paint's relatively thin up here. All right, and it's going to be the same way here. Now we're going to take this and we're going to do a series of light little glazes to give the shape of the mountain. I'm not going to necessarily make all of this orange disappear. We're going to have that orange help us out here. All right, now I'm not going to use glycerin. I'm going to use water. I'm going back here, look down here. I'm going to go back into my already kind of bluish gray mixture. I'm going to add a little more brown to that. Okay, mix the brown up pretty good to get a little bit of that blue tint into the add a little more blue into your mountain base there. I'm not using glycerin. This is all water. All right, don't necessarily have to be too perfect or pretty because you're going to have pine trees covering this, but right now we're just going to kind of have a little fun with this Mr. Mountain here. Okay, we're not going to get rid of everything. You got a kind of a short window to do all of this. I'm using the flat part of the brush just like this, and we're going to scumble. We're going to scumble and fade. Doesn't have to be necessarily perfect. You can use the water to do the blending. All right, a little bit of water, smooth it out. There we go. See, stuff like that. Don't get rid of all that orange. All right, we're gonna get some darker pits of color in there. As you see, I'm going at angles here. Because remember, there's gonna be trees here. And this mountain will be faded. All right, I really don't want a heavy outline there, so that's why I'm getting rid of some of that. Bring some of that darkness in there. Go back into our blue mix. Let's get a little more love going right here toward the corner. Right in here. Just kind of frame it out there. Using the side of the brush. I'm dipping into a little bit of water to smooth out some edges, travel some of that color around. Okay. Don't be so worried about a little bit of your color going into the other mountains. That's okay. They're going to be covered anyway. But I want you to look at the topography of the hill now. All right, you see how it's starting to change? Now remember, I'm keeping it this paint fairly thin. I'm using water because I need it to dry. So when I do the overall glaze for the fog of this mountain, the clouds will be fogged in. This mountain will also be fogged in. All right. But it will be fogged in after I plant some of these trees in here. And wait till you see. Now, when I do the trees, these are going to be impressions of trees. Okay. As you see, all that orange has not been dissipated. There's still got patches of orange in there. All right. You still got a mixture of the cloud colors actually in the mountain itself. It's just darker. All right. All righty. We're going to go to a small fan brush. Now, what I'll do, because the picture's kind of far away, I'll zoom in a little bit so you guys can see what exactly I'm doing. And let's bring it down here. This is our subject right now. Let's sharpen up that picture a little bit there so you guys can see it. All right, now as acrylic dries, as it usually does, coffee break, hold on. As acrylic dries, it gets darker because it dries through evaporation. And like I said, this is mainly water with the paint, okay? It's dry. All right, real fast. But look already. Look what you have compared to the sky with this mountain here. You see, you're already starting to get the 3D-ish effect here. And these guys are going to be even set more back once I glaze all of this. All right, let's move on. Let's get a little bit of brown. Look down here. A little brown, a little blue. This is our tree base here. Mix it in. It got to be fairly dark also. Okay. No water, no tint, no nothing. I want to show you here with the bottom camera. Look at the amount of paint. All right, now, here we go. What you're going to do for the impression of pines here, especially on the top, okay, really hilly type of a mountain. This mountain, there we go. See, just a little tap, go straight down, vary the heights a little bit. Got to keep them kind of dark, go into that cloud area, just like that. Keep some bare, and then, see, and just vary the shapes a little bit. But look at that, look like far away pines already. All right, we're going to continue that right on down here and do your best to try to keep it straight. Okay, angle your brush. Okay, just like that. Keep some bare, you know, bare patches. Now, as we go further down, think of groupings. Look at this, straight down. See, they look like pine trees now. See the instant little points on them? You see how that's starting to look here? Don't keep them like toy soldiers. And whatever you do, even though we're going at an angle, keep them straight, upright. Keep these guys upright here. All right. As we're gonna start to frame in this other mountain here. Different variances of sizes. Don't be skittish about running some trees into each other. Okay, they're going to. I'm just getting a little more paint, light touch, since you got so much paint on your brush. And think about how you want your mountains to, or your trees to look on this mountain. Okay. Don't panic. Don't get worried about if they don't start to quote unquote look right. Give it a little time. You got to still paint through this thing. Okay. We're going to fill these up with some nice shapes of illusions of pines. Run them into each other. Okay. It's your judgment call how many trees you want. Okay. And I'm using straight paint. Using the corner of the brush a little bit there. Come on down here. Just like this. Come on down. Just like that. Bring some down here. And just look at it. Okay. You know, you pull back away from your painting and just give a good glance at it. All right. Now, a lot of these, the majority of them will be covered by fog. So you're going to wait for this to totally dry when you do this. Oh, let's put some of these guys. Let's frame this other mountain in. And when I frame it in, I'm just going right to the edge there. Okay. Remember, these are just impression there. The impressions of large trees. And they're far away. I'm using the side of the brush, which gives you obviously a different look. A couple of nice patches there. It's like that. I don't really have to touch and bother that anymore. I have what I have, just like that. Now, let's wait for that to tack up and dry a wee bit. Okay, and since it's going to do the tacking up and the drying, I'm going to take my fan brush. I'm going to dip my fan brush into a little bit of water while we're waiting for this to dry. And we're going to coat mountain number 2. Okay, now this has got water in it. Okay, this fella's going from the base. And see, this is just a coating right now. It's very dark, as you can see, and that's fine. We're going to get water and we're going to blend all of this. You'll see less and less orange as you get closer. Now, while the painting is somewhat wet, you can blend all of this. I'm just taking a little bit of water and see, I'm just making a wash now. That's all. Especially down here in the base where it's a little dark in the first place. All right. Just like so. Bring it on down there. You still got your tints of orange in there. Not as much, a little darker. Frame that in a little bit. Okay. Since we're done with the guy up top, we're going to concentrate down here on the bottom. Don't worry about the directions that they're going in. Okay, it's all right. Don't make all of your orange disappear. There was something that I wanted to do here and I forgot, so we're going to have to wipe away a little bit of that color. I think I still can get away with it, probably around in here somewhere. Let's see if I can wipe out a chunk of that color here. Yep, I'm gonna wipe out a patch. Yes, I am gonna wipe out a patch of color right up in here. Yes, I'm gonna try my best to wipe some of that away. There's a reason, and you'll see in a second. I forgot to add it, but you're gonna like it. If it's stained a little bit, that's fine. Right in here, I'm just gonna wipe away as much as I can, and I'm just taking water and a semi-dry brush and just wiping away the color. And I gotta let this dry for a minute. And then I'm gonna add a little something here. You can do this with any nice little trick. I meant to do this in the beginning. I wasn't thinking about it at the time because I got a little distracted with that telecall. I'm gonna take a little bit of tape. Yeah, it's somewhat dry enough. If I can get away with it. I'll put the tape right here. just like that. Still a little damp, but that's okay for what I need. Like I said, I forgot. We're gonna make a house, a roof. All right, we're gonna go straight across, and we're gonna angle it. We'll angle it this way, and we're gonna angle it this way, and then we're gonna cut across. Still a little wet, that's okay. We'll peel this away. I gotta hold on to the part I want to keep. See that little rip there and that little tear of paper? That's because the paper is wet. Like I said, I forgot. But don't worry about the little tear. Okay, that's okay. It's not the end of the world at all. That can be replaced just as like this. There, see? It's all right. You're gonna be fine. All right. Now, when I go to doing these trees, those trees will be a little more refined when I get to these guys in here. Okay. Now, I do believe it's somewhat dry enough to do what I'm about to do next. Okay. We're gonna raise upward. Don't necessarily have to pull the camera back. We're gonna raise upward here. Put it in frame. All right. From here to the top of this, we're going to do a glaze. And we're going to do a glaze with white, titanium white. Now, titanium white has a very chalky residue. All right. So in this case, you're going to need a little more water. All right. And white paint. Look down here with me. We're going to get some water. Now you can do this with the medium. Okay, I wouldn't really recommend it. It all depends on the size of your painting, and that might look like plenty or too much water. And we get a little bit of white, and you're going to mix it in there. Okay, now that's not bad. It's okay. We're going to tint that with just a little micro touch, a couple of hairs of blue in there, just like that. See this? Okay. See how strong phthalo blue is? Okay. But remember, it's tinted with water. Okay. Now that's going to leave a residue that's going to look like mist or a foggy day or something like that. It's going to be really, really misty. Okay. I'm going to add a little touch more of white. I need a little more white than that blue. So I'm going to pick out a little spot right in here. Just like that. Okay. See now, that's a nice lighter tint. That is a lot more acceptable than what I did do. All right. Now remember, because of the residue titanium white will leave, you might need a little more white or a little more water in that. Just a slight touch of water to get it really there, like that. All right. Okay. So don't panic. This is, you're gonna need a little bit of nerves of steel when you do this. Now, despite the water, this is why you need this part totally dry. And we're just gonna go right into it. Dive right on in. All right, ready? All right. Nerves of steel. Don't panic. It'll be all right. Very light, very light, very light, like this. Go right on across. I know you're gonna get nervous. It's okay. Get nervous. It's all right. It's good for you. That means you'll be extra careful. And we're gonna just wipe right across. Get some more. Now remember, this is all watered down. Okay, so don't worry. You can go back and reclaim things and whatnot if you don't feel it strong enough. Get some more water. Now you're going over the clouds and stuff. Okay, so just be careful. All right, don't worry about the streak marks. That will straighten out. Believe it or not, I need more water. Okay, because you're gonna go, it's an overall misty type of quality to it. All right, and this is why you need this stuff totally dry. Don't worry about the streaks. The streaks, believe it or not, will dissipate. Okay, so panic not. I'm just going over it because all of this is dry. So don't worry about it. If you want to use a wider brush so you don't get as much streak marks, use that also. Okay, at this point, don't matter. I'll show you why in a second. Okay, there. But that's pretty much what I'm looking for, what I need. Let's take a wider brush. If you don't want the streaks a little bothersome for you, You just take it and lightly, see this? You're not wiping it away. You're just spreading it out, circular motion. Okay. It's like so. Nice. But it's going to give you that nice cloudy type of look there. All right, now remember, this is not but the water and the white. All right, so if you got little streaky things going on in there that you don't like, then you can just kind of do the extra thing, and you can kind of see, you can thin it out, remove it. The paint reactivates. Okay, and then you take it and you just brush it. So you get that, you get the milkiness still, but you're getting some of the crossover lines. You're just removing all of that. You're not wiping it away. You're just thinning out, spreading it out, just like this. So once again, have no fear. Don't panic. Don't panic. You're okay. You're a-okay. You're fine. Just like that. Okay. Now we can be cute. Only a little cute though. We'll spill some of this over in here. All right. Need a little touch of white, make it a little more opaque there. I'm getting some blue and some white. We'll spill some of this over in here like this. It's okay if you do that. See this? Spill it from the top of the mountain there. Just a little bit of fog seeping in there a little bit. Okay. Now remember, you got more, it's more water in the thing. This is all residue white. Because white leaves that residue going on in there. All right. But now that we've did all of that, as you can see, it sets everything back, including your clouds. All right. Everything else will pretty much be in somewhat detail. Okay. And that's it. All right. Getting our aerial perspective going. All right. Let's deal with those trees here. We're going to take a round brush. All right. Actually, we can take apart and get that tape out of there. Let's remove the tape. Now, if I end up with a ripped white roof, that's fine also. Just carefully peel it away. All right, obviously that didn't come out that great, but that's all right. When I make a little error like that, which is fine, I can always cover that and make it look like the roof is supposed to be. And basically, all I do is really just frame it in. There, we just frame it in a little bit like that. Okay. And this is basically what it's supposed to look like. Because in all that woods, you got this little odd shaped. Now that corner is a little dark. I'd have to wipe that off to get there, kind of make that a little more believable in there. Right in here. Try to remove some of that paint to just get that corner of the roof presentable. At least let it look like it is a roof. And so I'm just wearing away that paint a little bit at a time. Just a little bit, as much as I can. Okay. Still looks a little darkened in there. I can but that's okay. We can work with that. It'll look like something's back there anyway by the time we're done. Let's take that same round brush if I can find it again. There we go. This round brush might be a little too thick maybe for what I want to do, but we'll see. Okay, anyway, we're gonna go right on with the program here. Little phthalo blue, look down here with me. We're gonna get some more phthalo blue. We're gonna get some more brown. Okay, it's a lot of blue. So let's get some more brown, equal that out. We're gonna get a little bit of that sap green. We're gonna throw that sap green in the mix. Okay, now we have sap green mixed again with that blue, which gives us a blue green. We're gonna deaden that blue green a little bit with that brown. Okay, as you see, I'm getting quite a bit of it. There's no problem there. A little more brown. All right, now remember, this type of brown has more green in it. Okay, so basically if I wanted it a little darker than this, a little deeper than this, I would just add red. Red and green are opposites, and it will get extremely dark. I don't want it too dark, but I might introduce red into this a little bit later. All right, these trees are a little more detailed. These type of trees are a little more time consuming, but they're fun to do. Let's start here at the top. We're going to bring these down. There won't be as many trees. Okay. As a matter of fact, let's do it up here. Let's get a taller one right here. We're going to just kind of here, and we're going to get those interesting tree shapes. We're going to brush a little bit from the left, brush a little bit from the right, just like this. So get prepared to do a bunch of these. Okay. It takes a little bit of time. They're a little, like I said, they're a little time consuming to do, but it gives a really nice look when you're all finished. And a lot of these trees will butt into each other. Okay. So this part of the painting will take a little time there, but it's okay. It's all right. All in what you want to do. Don't make them look like little toy soldiers. Okay. And we're going to go all over the place. Some of these trees will grow substantially as we're doing this. Okay. We'll get some kind of tall there like this. And we're gonna move around. Instead of just doing up and down this hill like this, we're gonna move some of these guys around. We'll bring this one a little bit downward like that. And we're gonna come here, we're gonna add some down here. But then you'll get the hint of what we're doing here. I'm rolling my brush, getting at least a nice thinner tip of paint. And we're gonna bring these trees down at different heights, different levels. Okay. And they'll look like trees, just like that. We're gonna put them, they're gonna be all over the place, scattered. Okay, we'll put one right here. And you're doing little brushes, strokes, a little to the left, a little to the right. We're gonna have some coming right through that house, back in there. The house is meant to be hidden a little bit. So we're gonna put one right here. We'll come by that roof there. See, that's just like that, and come downward, come right down to the bank with this fellow, just like that. And all of this still adds to that perspective. All right up in here somewhere, just like that. We'll stop him right about there. We'll get another tall tree coming down toward the bank there, just like that. Keep going. If they get closer, they get a little thicker. Okay. More paint than water, really, because I want them to be I want them to be really opaque. Okay. Just like that. Put them in there. Put a little fella right here, because they're supposed to look like a forest of trees. All right. I'm getting a little touch of water only on the tip of the brush, just to loosen up the paint a little bit. Don't need much water. You still want a strong, opaque nature going through here. So I'll put one right up in here. We'll put one, just like the tip of something right here, just like that. Just like that. Come on up through there. And they have to be gradually darker than the dark parts of the sienna. So, you know, they actually stand out even amongst the dark patches of the sienna there. Come up in here, have them run into each other, have them collide. Okay. So yes, it takes a little bit of time to do these. Brush a little bit to the left, brush a little bit to the right. All right. So as you can see, it is a deeper color. I'm gonna pop some in here. Some of them are gonna get to run into each other a little bit. Just like that. We're gonna leave that house alone. We're gonna come up in here, add some little fellows up in here. Vary their heights, like so. Have some a little closer to, if you feel them too equally spaced apart. Put some, just, you don't have to even go all the way down. Just fill it in a little bit. Make this one a little taller, like that. Fill them in. Fill them in. I'll put one up in here like this, real narrow. Fill them in, fill them in, fill them in, and fill them in some more. The more you put in there, the more convincing it will look. Okay. And you still see the little bits of fog running through there. We'll put one right in here. Now I'm using a thicker round brush, so it gives me a different look. If I use a script liner, it will give me yet a different look. You understand? Just like this. Okay. And yes, I want the trees to kind of designed this way, each and every one of them. All right, I'm not going to switch up. They're still going to look pretty much like that. Just very wild trees. Going right into the fog there. Just like that. Let's put some more on that bank there. So I can go either from the top to the bottom or the bottom to the top, all in your preference, really. How do you want them to look? What do you want them to look like? All right. Let's put a nice tall one right in here. Just like this. They do take a little time to do, but if you concentrate, and one, you're not doing it talking to people with a camera behind your back. So when you do these, you'll really get into a zone, get it done. All right. But you know, I'm gonna have to talk a little bit and describe what I'm doing to you here. Okay. And it's all good. It's no harm, no foul. But you can start to see now how all that mist back there brings everything back. Okay. And this mountain, this hill comes forward. And yet we're not done yet. Okay, we're not done yet. Put some smaller ones back there playing around. All right. Put them back there. Have some fun. Stagger them around. I'm just getting a little bit more water going into the thicker paint. Okay, let's go back to the land of the giants here. Let's put a big one up in here. Brush it around to the side. They gradually, even though they're made like this, they're still gradually a long triangle. Okay, we'll put another close one right up in here. Like I say, this is a thicker round brush, so it gives a different look. Okay. A script liner will give you a thinner, more detailed type of tree in doing something like this. Oh yeah, let's have a giant right here. It's all right. Put it right in there. It's like that. Bring him downward a little bit and make him a tall one right down in here. And kind of cover up some stuff there. All right. Right up in here, you can put some tiny guys right up in there like this. Just some interesting tree-like shapes up in there like that. Going back into my thinner paint. And we'll bring one down here like this, right in the corner. Just like so. Okay? Okay. Like so. Let's go down to that water's edge. Let's bring a few big ones up in there, and then we'll work behind those. So, come down here to the edge. We'll do it here. We'll bring a row of trees here down to the edge like that, right to the water's edge. Come on down there. See, it's no harm to bring some standing next to each other. You can just vary the heights. All right, that's all really. Right here, put one here. Maintain that triangular tree shape. I'll put a small fella right in here like this. Let's put one up in here, kind of going up that way. Have them run into each other. Have them butt into each other. It's all right. Okay, as you can see. All right, everything's starting to come together here. Okay. All right, let's pop some in here. And right now we're just spattering shapes in there, just to kind of crowd some of this orange a little bit. Not too much, not too much, not too much. But you still see the fog move around in there. Okay, just like that. All right, yeah, there you go. Like I say, it takes a little bit of time for it. It does. But the results are great. All right. let's pan back a little bit, show you what we have so far. Okay, and this is what we have. Okay, all right, let's come downward a little bit. And if you notice, you still see that fog crawling around back in there. See that mist? Looks like it's ground level. All right, very simple concept in doing these. Okay, very, very simple. All right, we got a little bit of rocky outcrop here, and we'll just block that in real quick. We'll just use a wee bit of brown right up in here, a little touch of white. It'll gray it out. Okay, so I'm using a little bit of that green, a little bit of that brown, a little darker brown. That white is going to gray it out just a tad. All right, and there. And we add a little more white to that because I still want it kind of grayish. All right, now that got that weird bluey stuff to it, but that's all right. Just add heavier brown in it. It still grays it out, as you can see. See, it's got now a more rocky gray to it. All right. Okay, so we're just borrowing colors off of each other, off of each other, off of each other. All right, and then we'll just kind of slap that little rocky kind of outcrop thing right up in there like this. We'll jet him out. He's gonna be a little darker than this, but right now we just kind of pop him in there like so. Make it look kind of like a rock. Have him stick out there like that. All right, just like that. Have him a little rough looking there, just like that. Just have him pop out there. Yeah, I'll be introducing a little red because I want him a little stronger. So let me. I'll use alizarin crimson. We'll mess with a dot of that crimson. Put it in there. Now, that crimson. Now, if we put a dot of blue in that crimson like that, all right, you're gonna get a whole different ball game of dark paint. Okay. Now you got a beautiful purple going on until I add that green in there, because you know green and red are opposites. Okay, and this red will cancel out that brown. So now you got a different variety of gray. You got a deeper gray now. Okay, and you know this is the shaded part of the rock. Look at that for a difference. See this? You see that? See that difference? There we go. And this is how you start rounding out rocks and stuff like that. Okay, so he's sticking out there fairly well. All right, we're going to take that concept, that very same concept, and we're going to flesh out this fellow. Okay. And this guy's got trees also. All right. All right. So we're going to go into our brown, a whole lot of it here. A little bit of brown, a little bit of that red, and some blue. We're going to get it pretty fairly dark and deep here. This might not be enough. It may be. We'll see. Okay. And we're going to start to kind of shape this fellow. I don't necessarily need to do it with a brush. I can probably do this with a palette knife. Okay, but just for all intents and purposes right now, we'll just kind of use the side of the brush and we're going to shade in some nice rock textures there. We're going to really, and you're not going to get rid of, we'll bring it downward like this. Come straight down. Come on, straight down. I'm using the side of the brush, and we're going to shade it just like this. So it looks like a nice little cliff side. Now the trees that will be here will be highlighted. This is a little darker here toward the side towards us. Right in here, pretty dark. Keep it dark, right down in here. And so we're gonna get our semblance of roundness with this. It's pretty deep stuff here. All right, we can spread that out a little bit, little outcrops, just like that. Keep it down, keep it fairly dark all in here. I'm going back into my deep mix here. And we'll start lightening up some things here. Come on out here. Get our little rocky outcrops. Just like that. As you can see, as I'm building this up here, a little airy toward the edge, because you're still playing with tones and light sources. Okay, this is the base color for Mr. Rock here, but as you can see, it's starting to take that shape. I'm just rubbing off as much of this paint. It's fairly dark down here on the bottom. Rubbing off as much of this paint as I can. Remember, it's going to be trees on this cliff. There will be trees all over the place on this. Okay. Yes, the trees will be hanging on to the edge of that cliff for dear life, but they will be there. All right. Up in here, a little, like I say, once again, it's a little solid around this bend. The sun isn't really catching here like you would, like you would think. All right. But now you're starting to see where the light's hitting there. All right. All right. See, now that didn't hurt too bad, did it? All right. And what I'm doing right now is I'm taking a little bit of water, a little bit of that color, and we're just gonna kind of, I want the orange there, but I don't want it to really be glowy, overpowering, so just shading it down, toning it down a little bit with a little bit of that purple color we got there, which is going to appear kind of black with this orange. Okay, so I'm just toning it down just a wee bit. Not like you're going to see a lot of it because of the trees, but we'll just kind of bring it down a little bit. See, look at the color shift. All right, so have all of that in mind when you do these. Okay. All right. I don't necessarily have to have, let's go down a little bit. I don't have to have this orange anymore. All right, we've got enough tint of orange around here, so we don't really need this to be that glaring with orange. All right, so once again, I'm going to take a little bit of water and take this deep browny purple mix, and we're going to just bring down the water, bring down the intensity of that orange. So we're going to mellow it out a little bit. Ready? No specific design, no specific stroke marks or anything. We're just toning down that orange a little bit. We're going to build off of this toned down orange. Okay, but see, just tinted. All this little tint. Now remember, I'm working with acrylic paint, so that stuff dries ridiculously fast. Okay, and we're just toning down that orange a wee bit. All right, just tone it down a little bit. All right, now I can tone it down a little bit more. This is your preference of how much of it you want toned down. And basically, I'm just, see this? Just tone it down. All right, that's all. Just tone it down a wee bit. Don't worry about going into the painting on either side, because this is still lighter than what you got back there. But like I say, I'm just toning down the orange a wee bit. You're not totally changing the overall look of anything, but you're just bringing this down a little. Don't worry about the streak marks at all, inconsequential at this moment. But as you see, I just tone that brightness down. It settles that mess down a little bit, so it's not so pow in your face. Just, tone it down a wee bit. All right. Okay, dokie. So, what we have so far, you got our clouds, got the distant hills back there. Then you got the trees here. All right, it's hidden back there, but you got a little house back there that nobody really would know about unless they really looked. All right, and then you got our foreground or our mid-ground rock, our foreground giant, all right, which is dry, and then our toned down water here. All right. Okay, you guys can see by the reflection of the camera every time I move it how the sunlight's hitting. All right. Okay. Enough of that. Let's play with this guy. The trees are going to look a little different, a little bit. Let's pull the camera back a little, just a little bit there, because of some of the height of the trees there. All right, so we're gonna go delve back into our green. Now these trees are gonna be the very familiar Bob Ross-ish type of, maybe not. Well, kind of, sort of. We're gonna go into our sap green. And I'm gonna go into this purple mix. And I'm gonna put it into the sap green, which is gonna turn it a little bit brownish. Okay, I might get a little bit of red to deepen it a little bit. We're gonna still stay somewhat on the green side. I'm getting a little bit of water to loosen up this very thick paint. Okay. Once again, they're gonna be more or less impressions of the pines. But these guys are gonna stick true to their greenish color. Okay. You're gonna really design them by the tips or the edge of the palette knife here. All right, we'll start right here from the top, and once again, it's just a kind of a touch. We'll make them a little taller, just like this, and we're gonna just kind of gather them up in there. These fellows will be hanging around all on the side of the mountain here, just like this, and they're gonna come on down. You're gonna get quite a few. We're gonna highlight some of these fellows too, so don't worry about that. But bring them on down in there. The highlights are gonna really show them off, but they're more on the greenish side. They're coming towards us, and that's where the detail's coming from. All right. This is not a difficult painting like you would imagine it would be. It's really not. A lot of what we're gonna do is a lot of highlights on these guys. We're probably gonna we're gonna redo the trees when we put some of that water in there. We're gonna bring some of these fellas right down here. Just like that, bring them in there. Okay. You're not gonna see as much orange down on the bottom here. Just like that, come on down in there with this. Just like that, keep him in there like this. A lot of highlights with this fellow. Okay, still gonna stay with the fan brush here. I'm gonna loosen up this brighter paint. Look down here, because all it needs is a series of touches. All right. Okay. Be very light with your touch. Now up here, it's just, they're gonna look like the appearance of pines anyway, so, and they're gonna have to be systematically put in like that. And you can put in as many as you want, whatever kind of groupings you want them to kind of look like there. Just like so. Put them in there, little highlights touching them. Then as you get further down, they get a little more detail, looking like trees. Just like that. Come on down a little bit more. Get a couple splatters of tree, but they're all gonna look like trees coming down here. Put them right in there, just like that. Now these highlighted branches, or little needles, they're now your light source. See that? They get a little darker there, kind of wake them up here toward the middle, stagger them a little bit. You know, you got little bits of light trying to creep around that outer edge there. Okay, like I said, we'll probably be coming back to these once we put the water in. Okay, and if it looks a little gaudy now, just give it a few seconds and it'll mellow in there. Put a couple staggering back there like that. All right. Okay. There you go. Let's play around with the water a little bit, shall we? Now, the water, it will be somewhat kind of sort of blue, kind of sort of. But as you get the general blueness in there, then it's going to start turning a little greenish purple because of the rocks and got the hills and everything. So, all right, so you're gonna build it up in that fashion. I'm just taking a 1/2-inch brush. All right, alrighty then. Let's get a little bit of no glycerin. We'll just use some water. Actually, I like this blue that we got here. This little bluey stuff right in here. We'll start with this first, and we'll get the general kind of shape of whatever going on. So it'd be a lot of this, and we're going to build up because this is the lightest color. So we'll just start kind of go straight across. We'll start to kind of capitalize on this a little bit, just like this, all up in here, and go straight with it. Just because you see me doing the light stuff don't mean it's actually going to stick around and stay there. Remember, this is just the lightest stuff. We'll make our play off of this. But everything, keep it pretty much straight. Okay, if you go into your trees a little bit, that's all right. Just wipe it away because it's mostly water. Okay, so this is our little light, kind of highlighted light source-ish type of thing going on. And we'll build everything off of this light color. And then we're going to go actually from light to dark. All right, but you'll see. And this water is kind of rough going, and we'll make a play on that also. You'll see. And we're going to go right down here to the bottom. A lot of this lightness won't be even in there because we're going around the bend more or less. And as you can see, we're still keeping a little bit of our orange in there. Some of the orange will still stick around. Okay, we're going into our blue here. We'll put the blue right in here. A little touch of water, not too much. Now, our blue will be coming more or less from around the bend here. Okay, still keeping it straight, because this blue is our kind of our shadow work here. That blue is kind of heavy around the bend, around the nearness of this edge here. Put it right in there. We're gonna do the same type of love right here. Keep it horizontal, a little heavy toward the toward our edges there. Okay, and we're gonna build. We're gonna keep building. It's definitely darker around this bend here. You're not gonna see too much light happening there. Okay. Keeping it horizontal more or less, all up in here, just like so. Not as blue as you would think. Keep everything horizontal. All right, we're gonna get, things are gonna get, they get darker towards the bottom of this painting. I'm just getting a little more blue. I got water. It's just blue and the water. We'll bring it there so you guys can see the edge right down here. It gets kind of interesting there. And we're gonna have a lot of stuff going on all up in here. Very dark. Very dark. We'll keep some of that orange showing through, but it's really darkish up around in this area. Okay. Remember, we got our different colors to put on top of this. So once again, we're just building stuff up here. So, and that's basically all I'm doing right now. This is all dark down here. It won't matter anyway. That's kind of some deep stuff going on over there. All right. Okay and dokie. Let's go into our deep green here. I got water in my brush. All right. And it's going to mix all up in here with all this happiness we got going on here. And we're just going to kind of tap in some of that green in there, because you know you guys got autumn trees happening. This green is mixing in with that blue. Okay. Just like so. Come on in here with it. Put it right in there. Just like that. Okay. Put it in there. It's mixing in with the blue. Don't worry about that. You're just building up layers and layers of this water. Like so. Getting some more. Because we're coming up around this side here. It's a little deeper. Because now you're messing with all them darks in there. Alright. So that orange is going to disappear a little bit. Horizontal. Keep it horizontal. Follow me. Keep it horizontal. Just got shades of green in there. Like so. Alrighty. We're not done yet. Not by a long shot. Not by a long shot. Well, I think I got water on my 1-inch brush. Not enough water though. And we're just gonna kind of go wipe across a little bit. Okay. Alrighty. Let us go into, well, we do have, we got one more, well, a couple more things to do. We'll call this one done. We're going to make some, well, some dark. I ran out of my brown. So hold on for 1 second. A little touch of brown there. All right. We got a little bit of our darker colors here. We're going to do, because once again, we're still talking about aerial perspective. Okay. All right, look down here. Let's get some of that blue. Put it right here. Bam. Get some of that maroon. Put it in there. Mix it in there with that blue. You get a real deep purple there. Really deep. Going into our brown. Put the brown in there. Mix it in there. Mix it in there. Mix it in there. You're going to need a little more than this, more than likely. So, a little more brown. Very dark. Very dark. Okay. Need a dark base for this. All right, let's get to getting. Right here on the side, we're going to start popping in. Oh, right around, right here. I'm going to use the corner of the brush here. And we're going to pop in some rocks on the side there like that. And make them look like a big old triangle. We're going to jut some right from this area right in here. Just like that. Now the rocks, no matter what, they're going to appear straight because of the water. Okay, see this? Just like that. Keep it kind of straight there. Like that. All right, well, we'll pop a little one right here. Right in there like that. Have it jut out. Very dark. Have it stick right out there. Okay, we're going to get a nice, we're going to get a taller one right up here. Boom. Right up in here. Just like that. You have him come out here like that far. You give him a nice size one right up in there. Just like that. Have him kind of jut out of that mountain a little bit. All right. I think we got enough for one more, maybe. Somewhat. Let's darken them a little bit, because it's getting contaminated with the other color. So we'll kind of. There we go. So we'll put one more. We got one more. We got room for one more. Right here. Right there in the corner. Dark one right there in the corner. Brings this cliff backwards. Back some. Right here. Alright. Alright. Now we only got one on the other side. It's cool. Okay. So we know we got a little something right here. We'll bring some of that dark right there, kind of shell him out a little bit. So we got one there. We've got a little piece of one right up in here like that. I don't want him to come as far as the one on the bottom. So we got a little something here. We kind of give him a little bump there. And all right, basically keep it fairly flat. Okay, all right. We'll start to highlight those rocks a little bit. Not a terribly daunting thing to do. We're going to take a very tiny flat brush. I do have quite a few of them. We'll take, who fell about this size here? We're going to zoom in a little bit. Let's bring this up, square this off, and just zoom in a little. All right, all right. Okay, we're going to take a little corner of white. Look down here, a little corner of white. We'll put the white in there like this, and we're going to just use the corner. Let's go over here on this side, and we'll just start highlighting the rock a little bit. Fade that in there. Now, no medium or anything. We're going to just get some of those highlights going. I'm just going to kind of rub the finger around, fade it in a little bit. Just like that. Okay, so we'll start to rub in some shades of color on these guys here. Just like that. Go back in, back to the corner. Give him a little dot of something here. And I'll just rub my finger and kind of, okay, we got some love in here. Just like that. Now this is just paint. It's going to dry immediately. Okay. And that's pretty much what I want. Let's get some more. If I run out, we're going to go over here on this side. Right here, this guy far away, back here. Give him a little touch of something there. A little bit of love there. I'm going to go back into just the tiniest bit of white, go back into this purplish color here. Okay. And even for the rocks, this is more or less like the first shading of it or whatnot. Come up around here. I don't want too much on the back end, mainly on the front there. And just kind of rub that away, smooth it out. And we got a little filler right in there. Okay. Don't panic if you feel you may have did too much. We got ways around that. All right. I'm just going back into this light color, more like scumbling if anything. Put some on the top there. And this is not the final highlight, remember that. Okay. You're just brightening the base color. See this? Pop a little bit of something right in there. Not much. But you see how it's starting to turn out? Okay. Hashtag don't panic. It's how you build it up. Just getting a little more white. Now this fellow's more or less in the back there, so I can just use the side of the brush here and we'll just kind of coat some highlights on there. See? So make that a nice little rock top wrap around in there. Something like that. And then we'll kind of curve them around in here. And basically you're just gonna fade out the bottom edge a little bit. It's all right. Give them a little something up in here like this. Scumble them in. Really, really coy. Everybody can do this. All right. Let's set that tack up and have a little rest time. Let's put some rapids in here. Let's take our small little fan brushy. I think I have one even tinier than this. I can't seem to find it right now. It doesn't matter. All right. Go into our white. Just a tip. I don't necessarily have to. I'm going to pull this paint a little bit. I don't have to really water it down. I don't, nothing really special. Let's do it right here. We're going to start here and we're going to go a little bit to the right, like that. Then we're gonna go a little bit to the left, like that. And then you got a bigger one in the center like that. All right, so you got one there. Okay, I'll probably end up tinting that a little bit. We're gonna do it here, a little right to the left, come on down like that. I'm just getting a little more white. We're gonna have more here. Big one right in there. So these probably be tinted, and I'll probably end up going over it again because they're too bright. I'm gonna get a little touch of water, loosen up this paint just a little bit. I think we can have a baby one right in here, like that, and like that, and probably a couple here, like that, and kind of tap in some stuff up around in here. Little activity going here and there. Where I don't have to really tint is this stuff up here. I just kind of give a little touch here for water splashing around. Maybe a little bit go in reverse like this. Touch and make a little noises, little splashies right in here. In here, the same thing. I could probably just have it come out like that, and pop some caps up in there like that, and a little bit of that there, and probably a little something here. Have it come out like that. Like I said, I'll be tinting a lot of this like that. Little touches of stuff in there, bro. Go way back here, add some little whatever's in there. Okay, we're gonna tint some of this. Okay, just like that. Now, a little bit too bright, a little too bright. So we're gonna tint those caps. Don't worry about it. It's still it's acrylic. It's probably dry right now. I'm going into this light bluish stuff with the water right in here. Okay, and then we'll just start tinting some of those falls a little bit, just like this. Go right, wipe right across. I'll just use my finger and just kind of tint them in there, and it's just bringing some of the color. Take some of that edge off that super brightness there. See that? Just a little bit. And rub my finger across. You got a short window to do all of this. Okay. And I'll just wipe it across, stuff like that. Basically, I'm just toning down that white. Okay. I'm not going to tone down the spray, but I'll tone down some of the water up in here like this. All right. I'm just going to get a little bit more. And once again, we'll just tone down a little bit. See all this here? And just tone it, wipe it across. Well, here it can be shaded a little bit. It's not really, it's behind stuff, so just like that. So I'm just toning all of that down a wee bit. Just a wee bit. Now, I can go back into my watered down white. And then I'll add, boom, see, you add the splashes now. So it kind of means something now. All right. Put them splashes up in there. Okay. So now it looks like we got some activity going there. All right. That's some pretty angry water. See that? And you can kind of whisk some sudsy, fudzy things going on in there. And I think we're good with all of the little rapid things going on back there. All right. You still got tints of orange in there, but not as much. All right. Okay, we're close to calling it done here. Let's go with our final highlights on some of the rocks there. I guess I'll take the round brush because we're so close to the end. Dry paint, round brush at the tip of the brush, and you add some little highlights. Just kind of pop them in there a little bit, like that, and you kind of see this, and just use your finger, rub it a little bit. Okay, some wrap around here, because acrylic dries like super fast, like immediately. So once again, you got a short window to do this. This is just the highlight. I'm using the smallest tip of paint on the brush, a little dot like this, a little line right there, and just kind of fade it out a little bit. All right, just like a little fade, just like that. Kind of touch it. Don't press like you're trying to rip the paint red off. Right, don't do that. And I'm doing it also to build up where, see, if you keep building it up, it gradually gets brighter and brighter. Okay. Because remember, every time you wipe this stuff away, you still got residual paint because this stuff dries so fast. And just don't put it anywhere. Put it where you think that sun will hit it the most. Even though you don't see any sun. But there's always a bright spot that's always trying to grab for that brightness. Okay, up in here, just like that. Okay. See, we're getting pretty close to calling it done here. I do appreciate you guys watching. Now, because this is 11 by 15, I got a frame for it, so we'll see what it looks like all framed up there. Right up in here, where we get a little bit of sunlight coming just around that corner for this fella. Okay, hidden behind all this little dark trees back there. Not really much here. We'll kind of skate a little something, like it's trying to find a little piece of sunlight there. Okie dokie. But here we go. All right, it completes all focused in there. Now I want to show you guys something. Let's slide this over. Just like that. And I'll take this. There. This is the original. It's on paper. And ironically, the paper, as you can see, is orange. But here is the original. All right. The original. And a few years later, right there, it's the remade one. Okay, is it a perfect replica? Not really. I've grown since the 2016 for that one. Actually, it's ironic because it's 12/16 when I made this painting. Okay, and as if this taping is like 11/20 now. All right, so it's about 4 years difference. Okay, but as you can see, same little spot there. The hill, the main one, the rocks. I got a little more rapids going on than this one. There are our little foggy stuff. Same thing here. All right, the clouds, the rolling clouds there. I didn't put the eagle in. I guess I should slap an eagle in there. I put one in there on this one, so. But I did put him up there. I might, I'll change it. Well, he was pretty cool way up there, so I'll put him back up here. I'll give him a wingspan. He'll be a bigger eagle. Now, it's thicker paint, so I gotta go over it a few times. But he's definitely out there. I guess I give him a little bigger wingspan there. He's a little closer this time around. All right. There we go. So we got him there. All right. So we got the eagle up there. All about, once again, aerial perspective. Okay. Truly darker up front. All right, you got your detailed mid-ground here. And everything else back here is really kind of washed out there. And that's all. All right. Okay, let's take Mr. Original and let's put him back over here. All right. Yeah, we seem to be all right. Got all sorts of tones and shades and stuff happening up here in the clouds. Everything gives you a sense of that aerial type of perspective. Okay. Utilize quite a bit of the orange in the back. You got some little orangey highlights in there. Okay, up in here, the besides that roof there, that I don't think nobody would really notice unless I kind of drew in little slats or whatever. Got our rapids happening. Still got bits of orange throughout the painting. Let's start with the black frame first. This black frame I bought initially to show what it would look like on this is an actual 10 by 15 frame. So it's a black frame, and it kind of looks like this in a black frame. All right. I don't know why, but for some reason, nature paintings seem to be they tend to look a little better with a brown frame. Now, the brown frame does cover this one fairly decently well, as you can see. And it looks like the brown frame, in my opinion, looks like it wins out. But then again, once again, my opinion. But that's what she looks like with the brown frame. Okay. All right. Well, once again, like I usually say, thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope it entertained and taught you. And as I'm talking, wow, it's already month 11. Isn't that something? I'm just going over my signature because it dries up, and obviously when it dries flat. Okay, there we go. I appreciate it. I thank you very much. And I shall see you guys when I see you. And until next time.